Maybe because there's something wrong with me. Which, I've had that said to me on countless occasions, multiple times, to different people, ranging from so many different education levels. At this point or another, y'all could be wrong. That's besides the point. So, the point of the matter is, when people speak to me, I have this weird thing where I just assume you're always telling the truth. And as our time develops more, I let time, actions, moments, scenes, places in my cognitive functioning to be able to remember what you've told me earlier, to show me if you're a truth teller, a storyteller, a manipulator, and or a liar. Now, the problem with that is I can know your archetype down to a T, and there's still going to be that little thing in my head that's still like, believe them to tell the truth. Although the extensive list from past and previous history has said they've lied about this. They'll even lie about things that aren't important. So the fact of the matter is, know that this person only speaks bullshit. This person statistically tells the truth as much as possible, but sometimes will lie depending on who's in the room, what power is in the room, and situational awareness. But they're fairly good and straightforward with the information. This person lives in a different world in reality, so therefore, it's probably always manipulation. Either way. When it comes to meeting new people, I don't know you to be a liar. You show me that you're a liar. So therefore, my bad for trusting you. I'll probably make that mistake again. Just because the first time, life be lifing, accidents happen. The second time, I'm starting to see a pattern. The third time, this looks suspicious. The fourth time, shit, they love this. The fifth time, God. The sixth time, yeah, I should have figured this. The seventh time, oh, they built for this. The eighth time, what? No surprises. You've done this 8 fucking times on 8 different occasions. Yes, I can list them, but I also know from the other occasions you don't take accountability well either. So therefore, there was no point in telling you this shit because it sounds like I'm hating on you, but for the fact that you lack to have the cognitive functioning to remember things, or maybe you do, but you also want to play off the benefit of the doubt and or the plausible deniability, because when it's coming to you and I and having to do remembering, if you don't remember, then it didn't happen. But if I remember, knowing that I'm more likely to tell the truth than you are, unless situations do dictate, there are times I will lie. But the thing about that is, at least I'm honest about the times I lie. You'll lie on top of a lie on top of a lie and make it a 7-layer lie. That's the difference between you and I. I don't try to make 7-layer lies. The most layers I will do is potentially 2 and or 3. And I say potentially because there's times I do understand and will incorporate a lie just because I can see why it is needed. But you lie like you breathe, effortlessly. So therefore, and as somebody that has seen you create a lie on the fly, I know that you can do whatever you want with the tongue in your mind. So therefore, even to confront you for the things that I've caught you on, I know you'll catch another lie. So therefore, why call you out? Seems like time wasting if you ask me. Calling a spade is enough for me. I see the spade as a spade. Even if the spade doesn't know it's a spade, does the spade need to know it's a spade? No. I'm just saying, calling you what you are loud enough for you to hear just means you're aware that I clocked you. And it doesn't necessarily mean you might change. Although it might mean you may change tactics into being more aggressive and or being less receptive and or being more distant. Because when you realize certain eyes and certain minds and certain things are watching you, some people tend to crank up the performance that way, they can continue. Or they try to dwindle out the naysayer that way they don't awaken and alert the others. But hey, as somebody that does their best to always tell the truth as often as I can for within the reasons, no wrongs, because I realize telling the truth to people that can't handle the truth just causes you to be in more pain and should really be needed for the situation at hand, because some people are aggressive about defending lies. And you got to feel them out from the first to the second to the third impressions because, well, the first time, life be life. And the second time, if they're extremely the same as the first time, I think I'm seeing a little something. The third time, that's when a pattern arises, at least to be. But I still like to, trial and error, trial and error. If I make it into double digits, I know that life is how life is, and this is who you are going to be forever. It's just some people get there quick and some people get there slow. And that's what makes me realize if they're a good person, or at least in my world, because we all define things differently, is how quick does it get you? How quick do you create a 7-layer lie compared to how long it takes you to create a 7-layer lie? If I've met you, let's say, Monday, and by Wednesday you've already made a 7-layer lie, yeah, you ain't nothing better. Shit, show. That's the point. I don't know, what would be a decent time to create a 7-layer lie? I don't know, I'd say like 3 to 4 months. Month 1, I hear something. Month 2, maybe you create another lie, you add on to the other one. But then it's like a lie a month. It's like, but what's the lie? Either way. Either way, to keep me in a state of confusion, disillusion, is the easiest way to keep me away from you. Because I love to be in places where I feel respected, where I can see clearly. And when answers are given that are correct to what's going on, and not answers are given just to shut me up. Because to shut me up is to anger me in ways that I do not explode, I implode. I take situations and I figure it out for myself. Because if I let you know what I'm thinking, then of course you're going to want to know, so you can control the thinking even more. So if I don't tell you what I'm thinking, that I can finalize my answer and submit the paper, and, well, whoopsie, I forgot to put my name on it. But you know it came from me. I have that special thing about myself when I deliver messages, and when my presence arises and shows up to situations, you know, it could only be. Who else but? I'm just saying. I believed you. I always did. And 9 times out of 10, I always do. Unless I actually know you. And to know you is to know that you love to lie. You love to deceive. You love to manipulate. You love the boss, but do you know what to lead? You love to be a monster. But to be called as one, wow. Not everybody loves accountability. Man, women, or human, not everybody can see what other people can see. And I see you for who you truly are. Although I believe I saw you earlier. But now, I know exactly. And I see clearly. A monster in many forms. But the monsters that I've come to learn is not the monsters that show mean face. It's the monsters that show all their teeth. That's why I don't trust a smile. A smile has always been more dangerous to me than a deadpan face that looks like they might want to hurt me. Because it's the one that shows their teeth that are showing you how sharp it is for devouring. What does any of this mean? Who cares? This is my message. This is my story. I'm going to speak how I want to. But just know, not every monster looks scary. Some look so friendly and inviting. And it's your job to figure out which ones are which. I know what I'm looking at. Do you?